All right, we are continuing our conversation with Omid Abtahi. He is an actor who started out in Houston, actually, when he moved here from Iran. Houston was home for a few years before he moved on to California for his dad's job. And now you know him as Dr. Pershing in The Mandalorian. You've seen him in Fear of the Walking Dead. You've heard his voice in different things. He's a voice actor. He's a theatrical actor.
Chances are you've seen him in something.
Hunger Games.
He's been in so many
As
programs.
Omid said, I'm that guy that's in that thing.
Yeah. I was watching Shameless one day. I'm like, what the? He's in the back seat with William H. Macy going to Canada or something.
Okay, and regarding
what?
that,
I
Omid,
forgot that was you and Shameless.
I keep waiting to watch when I
That
watch
is
Curb. I keep
so
waiting for you to show up on Curb Your Enthusiasm somehow.
Omid, working with all these people that are names that people recognize, like Pedro Pascal, Jon Favreau, okay, William H. Macy, how realistic is it that you would actually have maybe a friendship with somebody you met on a movie set or a TV show set that y'all kind of clicked and became friendly, or is it all just business as usual, and when the project is over, y'all just...
It's like camp when
you're
you're
like,
done.
I worked with him one time.
It's a good question because, especially when you're a part of a show that goes for multiple seasons, like, for example, American Gods was 3 seasons, you're like, oh, we want to be each other's lives forever, and we genuinely love each other, and we are friends, but then you go on to make different families on different shows. And so I find the people I generally have kept touch with are usually the people who are in my category because I see them at auditions when we used to audition in person. It's a lot of the same people I see over and over again, and it goes beyond being part of a show.
That's interesting you said that. Are all auditions now Zoom?
It's just self-tape. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
just tape.
Zoom
You
if
just
you're
send
lucky.
it in.
Yeah.
If you get
Okay.
Zoom, then
Okay.
you know it's really good. Because you're talking to
Or
them.
they're interested.
But acting on Zoom is weird. You're acting with a monitor. It's not. That's not what I trained to do. I trained to be in a room with somebody.
But the world has
Yeah.
changed so much, and you have to adapt.
You have to adapt. I mean, I have no choice. I'm still a good auditioner, but I just prefer to be in the room.
person.
Who's a celebrity that you're like, wow, I cannot believe I'm working with this person? Has there ever been one of those moments you're like, oh my God, I'm in a scene with so and so?
It was the first movie I did was called you know what? Hunger Games. I mean, Woody Harrelson. I mean, I grew up loving A White Man Can't Jump.
Oh, sorry.
Cheers a little bit before my time. And I had one scene with him, and I could barely get my lines straight.
You're just staring at him.
That's what my mind was like. Woody Harrelson.
Did he
Harrelson.
smell like
Yeah.
weed?
Yes.
I think that whole set might have smelled like weed from what I heard.
I show up at 5 a.m. base camp is like, woo.
And to that point, are there any actors that, they're names that we know, but they don't get the accolades like some of the big guys, and you've worked with them, you're like, man, this person is underestimated. Like anybody that you work with that we just don't know how really amazing they are.
For sure. And I'm trying to see if a name pops up for me, but absolutely. There are people, it's usually the people who are under-recognized that are the most talented.
It's the ones that are on top, like someone said, I loved you in NCIS, that episode.
Oh, wow.
Really meant a lot.
Yeah.
Who's that? Was it Steve Harmon? Or
Mark Harmon?
Mark Harmon?
Harmon. Yeah, I didn't work with Mark Harmon.
like that guy? Like you
Yeah.
think he's a good actor, then you meet him, and maybe he sucks, or he has to have a phone to read his lines.
First of all, I will never say any actor sucks, but
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've worked with actors who have worked with a teleprompter, next to my head. I
Isn't
won't
that
say-
kind of phoning it in?
No, it's just some people have a hard time with memorization.
Yeah.
It worked. I don't judge anybody. Everybody has a different method.
Is it weird though? Because you think they're
It is weird.
talking to you, but they're reading behind your head.
What's people can't see it on the radio, but I had the scene. I won't say his name, but he patted me in a chokehold, and he's like, "Listen to me," and then he would look at the teleprompter, and then he would come back and he'd be like, "I'm gonna kick your butt, and I'm gonna find your family," and then he would look at the teleprompter. And I'm gonna destroy everybody.
Oh my
that sounds like
God.
Kiefer
And
Sutherland.
for me,
that sounds from
for me, I was
24.
like, and then he would read the teleprompter, and I would kind of relax, and then he would come back, and I was like,
Oh my God, that is hilarious. Now,
That is really
one of the
funny,
things I
Omid.
wanted to say about you is I'm blown away by your versatility. I've been trying to get Eric to watch this show. Roula,
I've watched
I think
first 2
you'd like it
episodes. I
too.
gotta keep-
It's called City on Fire. It's on Apple TV. And Apple doesn't have a huge selection, but what they do have is solid quality
They
programming.
don't waste their time with fluff. It's all
And
yeah.
you are a detective in that. And I loved that show. Your performance
What's it
was
about?
fantastic.
It's by the people
City
from
Empire?
Gossip Girl too, right? The Gossip
It's
Girl?
by the creators of Gossip Girl. Yeah, it's one of those crime whodunit dramas, that takes place in New York.
And it's a
In the-
family,
the
a very
nine-
corrupt
in the-
family.
Was it no right after 9/11?
Okay.
It's like Succession type, like corrupt family, like, and they're
And they left it open-ended for a second season. Are we going to get a second season?
no, unfortunately, no,
Oh.
no. It's a really
Or does he want to just say that to throw us off?
No, genuinely no. We've been told our contracts have been let go. And we shot that 2 years ago, and it came out last year.
Is that difficult when you really are in love with something and then all of a sudden it's over?
Yeah, it's hard. What's hard is, like, especially if you work on a high concept show like The Mandalorian or this other show that I can't talk about that will be airing soon.
But
Like,
when it
you have
is,
to-
I'll be talking about this one.
Yeah.
It's a big one. It's
You
a
have
big
to
one.
you have to wait like a year and a half for this thing to come out, and you're like,
Have you been in that position though, Mead, where you waited a year and a half and then something happened with the studio and they're like, you know what, we're just not going to release that. Sorry. What happens then?
God, I haven't had to deal with that.
Okay.
Well, think about
I've-
that Batgirl movie.
Yeah, Batgirl.
They just destroyed it. They're
It's-
like, nope. It's
All that work you've done and you're thinking you're going to get paid because you got paid, I guess, for the original work. But then if you
But
had
no
like
one sees it,
residuals
and
and
nobody
nobody saw it,
you want to be a hot actor where everyone sees it, and loves
Yeah,
it, and then
yeah.
they hire you for more stuff.
Yeah, no, I know. I've had friends who've been on shows that, like, for Netflix that never saw the light of day, and they spent a year of their life shooting it and a year of their life waiting for it, and it's
didn't happen.
heartbreaking for us.
Yeah.
Especially, go ahead.
I gotta say, I mean, you really are proving the point that you've had a very good a good experience in Hollywood because most of the times there is some darkness somewhere. You know, like when I was first coming up, it was terrible, and I had to do this.
He was also more mature because you're like in your 20s.
Huh?
But you were like a teenager.
I
when
was,
you,
yeah.
You're a man.
Yeah.
I mean, also the background
You take
when we were
advantage
in the
of.
break, Omid and I were talking, and he said that he started in a casting agency. That was one of your jobs, and that helped you learn how to audition. So that's a whole different angle. That's pretty cool.
That was the best education I ever got. I learned how to act in college, but then I learned about the business of Hollywood and the art of auditioning, which is very different than the art of acting. It's not very different, but it's there's a
To
difference.
catch their eye, you have to do certain things.
You do. You have to do certain things, and you have to not do certain things.
So you learn the tips and the tricks
So
of
stuff
what
that
they're
annoyed
looking
you,
for
You
in an
could
audition.
actually
Yeah.
teach. You could teach.
I've done it before.
I mean, like, oh my God,
TED
I
Talk.
want my daughter to talk to you.
They can
She's
make
in
some
Los
money.
Angeles right
You
now.
can make
struggling
$1,000 right
actress.
now.
more than yeah.
I'm his agent. $2,000, Ryan.
More
You
than
get one
welcome.
hour.
No, I do that stuff for free. No,
Omid,
love-
I have to give you your props for American Gods. Ryan was talking about your versatility. Normally, I feel like queer characters on TV, they kind of just throw them in there to like, okay, gay people need somebody to see on TV. But yours was really fleshed out. As a straight man, how do you approach something like that?
It's a good question. I approach it like I approach every role, and that's like with honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have people in my life who, in our extended family who are, gay, and like it's hard. Sometimes it's in conflict, especially with that character who's
Right.
also Muslim, and sometimes
Right.
your sexuality can be in conflict with your religion, and
Mm-hmm.
when I first heard about that role, I desperately wanted to play it. And I can't take the credit for that character because a lot of it has to do with the writing.
Right.
And like Brian Fuller and Michael Green, who wrote that show, and Neil Gaiman, who wrote the book that the show is based on, they did a lot of the heavy lifting. And it felt like Cinderella, where like the shoe fit.
Nice.
And even though I'm a straight man, like when I opened my mouth as that character, I wasn't me anymore,
You were the character.
That's
I was the
amazing.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really loved how like you were around all these gods, but in one of the final scenes, you still got down to pray. Like that was really,
Yeah,
that was interesting.
the most.
It was a good show.
I'm tearing up right now.
Yeah.
'Cause I love that character so much because he had to accept who he was, like fully and completely, and that was the beauty of that show and that character.
To research that character, did you talk to that family members that happened to be gay?
I don't have to. No, I didn't necessarily talk. What I had to do is learn more about the religion. That was the part of it that I wasn't as familiar with. So I had to learn how to pray. I had to.
You don't want to do that wrong. You got to make sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't
There's a
offend.
delicacy to both sides of it, like and
it could be dangerous because if you play it wrong, you could
People are going to
really make
You can play it
two
right.
sides really
Do you
bad.
have to worry
Yeah.
about something like, well, there's gay actors. Well, why are you casting a straight man in this role when there's a perfectly fine gay actor that could play the part?
Yeah, there's validity to that, but like I didn't become an actor to play myself. Like I became an actor because I love experiencing life through different lenses.
Well, yeah, think about that. Every actor
that's
we've ever
amazing.
seen win an Academy Award is winning for being something completely different than who they really are.
Unless you're De Niro.
If
Yeah,
you're just
or
tuning in,
Pacino or one
somebody
of
said I
these
just
guys
tuned
that
in.
just
yeah,
themselves.
exactly. What's this actor's name? I just tuned in. Who are y'all talking to? This sounds fun. It's Omid Abtahi. He has done a lot of different work in a lot of different shows. The one that we were focusing on more was The Mandalorian, Dr. Pershing. He was in Fear of the Walking Dead, as Ahmad just talked about.
And
He
you
was in
think
American Gods.
You think you're going to come back in the Mandalorian world? Do they ever give you a nod or anything? Or is it
don't
one of those
give
things?
you
Once whatever happened to you at the end of that episode, you get up, cut. All right, do you go, bye guys, or do they ever say
That
See
is-
you later, friends.
see you soon?
It's
You
the
don't-
worst part of the job is
You don't know.
Don't know. Am I giving a goodbye hug or is it I'll see you later? Is it goodbye?
Did they ever
won't-
call you okay? What
Poker
are you
face.
doing from July till September? Because they got to know to book things.
They do, but they give you a month or two in advance.
Have they even started filming a new season?
I don't know if they are going to film a new season.
Oh, wow.
I heard they might do a movie.
They're doing a movie.
a Mandalorian movie.
Yeah.
Fluffiest question of the day for
Yeah.
you, Omid. Who's
Yeah.
the most famous person in your cell phone contacts? Is it Jon Favreau? Who is it? Who's the most famous person in
yeah.
your cell phone contacts?
It was Jennifer Lawrence, but
The restraining order
I
came
think it
in.
was a burner phone. I think it was one of those phones because we shot in France and Germany, so we all had different numbers than our American numbers.
So
Okay.
But
it
you
was
became
cool
good
for you to
friends
have
with her,
the
though, right?
French cell phone
I
number.
was like,
not-
huh?
Was she really cool?
She was awesome. So I was a huge fan of her. Yeah, as a person, as an actor. So that whole movie was an amazing
that's
experience.
The
yeah.
franchise.
I mean, that's a blockbuster movie. That set has to be insane. The craft services alone has to
No,
be
yeah, it was always
you know,
good. Did you always have good food on sets?
We don't get anything in
What
radio.
set had the worst food for you? You were so shocked. Come on, Mandalorian. What is this buffet?
Well, I bet Jon Favreau had good
Cold
stuff.
cuts,
Cold
lunch
cuts.
meat.
Sushi.
yeah.